Welcome back to our camping fridge test, where we put 4 of the best known brands to the test, and with my mate Gareth over here, we try and abuse the fridges slightly and get the best, or look at basically what kind of fridge would suit what kind of person, really.
Yeah, just trying to understand how the fridges work. You know, there's a lot of people that say which fridge is best, which is not, but let's have a look at the real numbers. And
I think a lot of that is an emotional output. I think what we're trying to do over here is take the brand loyalty out of that equation, and I think out of these 5 tests, we should be able to give people some sort of an answer as to what fridge would suit them best.
Yep.
Yeah? So we're on to test number 3. So what are we doing in test number 3?
Well, test 3 is our 12-hour test.
Yeah.
What we're going to do is run the fridge, put the actual fridges on their dial to 0.
Yeah.
Run them and let's see how they actually run at 0.
Okay.
Drop a warm water bottle in there.
Yeah.
And then just keep them shut for 12 hours.
So we're not using the Engel external monitor to test. It's 0 on the actual fridge.
Just 0 on the fridge. Let's see what the 0 actually really is.
Okay.
Let's see what it does and what the temperature really does.
So this will show us the variance. So what you're thinking, I've got an ARB fridge and I stick it on 0. It's going to tell me really where my 0 is, and I need to compensate accordingly.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. What are we trying to achieve out of this test now?
Well, the idea is just to understand how much power the fridge draws over 12 hours.
Okay.
Just on its own in idle. Yeah, it's just
because we're not opening or closing
or closing it. We're just to look at how much is the maintenance current or the consumption of maintenance of a 0 temperature in the fridge.
Which, besides the warm bottle of water that we're sticking in and right in the beginning, it should be as what the box says.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's the plan. It's the idea is to see what are the real numbers, you know.
Okay.
And running 12 hours lets these fridges cycle, lets them roll through, lets them really get everything down to the core temperature.
But we're kind of getting the cycling out of this now, because they would have cycled already. We've got them down to 0 degrees. They would have cycled. So the cycling test that we did in the beginning, where the SnoMaster cycled a lot quicker, we're taking the cycling out of the equation right now because the fridge is already at 0. We're opening them up, putting a warm bottle in, and that's the only cycle that it should be doing.
Hopefully,
yes.
Yeah, it brings in all the tests really. It starts to have a look at them on a broader scale.
Yeah.
You know, you've opened the fridge, you put a warm bottle in, it was at 0, right? How is it going to recover from that? What's the fridge going to do? How much power is it going to consume? How much is the compressor going to run? And let's see what the consumption is. I mean, it's just a test that came out of what we were looking at before. And let's run these longer. Let's look at what they're doing.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we've run the 2-hour test, which is great. We've seen what that does. That's really what it is, pulling really hard to get to minus 18.
Yeah.
Let's look at it as a fridge.
Yeah.
0. I mean, most of us put them on 0 around here.
Yeah.
And, you know, let's see how much power consumption is there when it's static. For example, you're sitting at night, you know, we've got an 8-hour sleep cycle. You know, let's see what the average thing is running that way to see what it does.
Well, does it hold up to what the box says, basically?
Yeah.
So what you're buying off the shelf, if it's a 2.2 amp hour or 2.2 amp hour fridge or a 2.5 amp hour fridge, we need to see if that's going to give us the results here, I'm sure.
Yeah.
All right, so we got all the results here. As you can see, all the fridges are gone. Gareth has his lovely workshop back too. So we're going to be discussing results straight away over here. And once again, once we've released all the episodes over here, this will be available on a spreadsheet, downloadable from the site, and the links will go in retrospect to all these tests. So you will be able to get it straight off the link over there. It probably won't be there by the time this goes up because we haven't released all of the tests. So once that's done, we will put this monster onto a spreadsheet for you. Right, so let's get into the results. So 12-hour test at 0, room temperature bottle. What are the results?
Well, the SnoMaster on auto drew 9.2 ampere hours.
Yeah.
The water bottle temperature where we pulled it out is minus 0.8 degrees.
Okay, so that's below freezing. Remember, 0 is freezing for a...
Yeah. And the fridge temperature is minus 2.8.
Okay, so 0 on the actual fridge ended up being at negative 2.8.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And we can discuss that a bit further later.
Yeah.
The SnoMaster on low drew 8.5 ampere hours.
Okay, slightly less.
Yeah. The water bottle temperature is minus 0.7.
Same, pretty much the same as the minus 0.8, yeah?
Yeah, and the fridge temperature was was 0.2, so basically 0.
At 0.
So it's doing what it says it does.
Odd.
Well,
but you've got a theory behind this, right?
So the ARB we went on to next.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was 8.2 ampere hours.
Okay. Less than the SnoMaster at this point, yeah.
The water bottle temperature was 2.3 degrees.
Oh wow. Okay, so that is way out there. So 0 on the ARB gave us 2.3. So this basically is
and it also shows on the fridge temperature as well as 3.5.
Okay, so that's the external fridge monitor we had in there. It was 3.5 instead of 3. So although it's less on the amp hour that it drew, it didn't get down to the temperature.
Doesn't seem to have.
So
the gauge, their 0 seems to be slightly off.
Yeah.
So
that 0.3 of 0.3 of an amp less than the SnoMaster, but it never got close to the refrigeration what it should be doing, and this is what we're trying to test.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Now the Engel was 7.9 ampere hours.
Yeah.
The fridge was minus 1.5.
Okay.
The water bottle, sorry, was
minus
1.5, and the fridge was minus 1.2.
Okay.
So again, with the Engel, it was very difficult getting it to 0, wasn't it? Because it's on
analog, and I've been using this fridge for a number of years, so I kind of know where 0 is, and I think it's close. I mean, if we have over here, the fridges were at minus 2.8 for the SnoMaster on low and 0, so minus 1.2 actually puts it at a disadvantage because it was that much colder and it drew less power.
Yeah, no, the Engel seems to have done quite well here on this particular.
But we've seen that in the last test, really, that it just kept on chugging along. It doesn't care whether it's got hot bottles or cold bottles. It just chugs along at the same speed throughout.
Yeah, and again, this was one of the reasons behind this test. Let's run it for longer. Let's see what it does. Once it brings its temperature, let's see if it's comfortable there. And how much power does that use?
Okay.
And then the Waeco was again 7.9.
Which is a massive surprise to me.
The 12-hour water bottle temperature was minus 1.
Okay.
And the fridge temperature is minus 2.3.
Okay. All right. So that means the 0 again over there is... But then again, you've got a theory behind the SnoMaster on high at minus 2.8 and the Waeco at minus 2.3 is that it got into the cycle. Yeah,
it was in part of a cycle where it's really running and cooling things down like an AC does or an air conditioner. There's a 2-degree fluctuation between the thermostat, which tries to give you an average. Mm-hmm. We could be measuring this could have been measured right at the end of a cycle where it's been running, it's been pulling it down, it's about to shut off and rest for a little bit of time. Yeah. But I think the big numbers here are the actual power consumption.
So I think the bottle temperature, we wanted to see that everything was pretty much the same, except for the ARB over here. We can chuck that out completely because it only got down to 2.3 on the bottle and it was 3.5. So the actual setting on the ARB fridge is quite far out. So if you use an ARB,
the ARB could be over that cycle, so it could be at the end of it, and it could be waiting to cycle down again. And but the bottle temperature for us was supposed to be the stability.
The stability where we've got here basically minus 0.8, minus 0.7, minus 1, minus 1. Yeah. So they're all pretty much the same, except for the ARB is 2.3. Yeah. So that's a 3-degree difference.
Correct.
So I think that we've just got to scratch that one out of there. Which then leaves us with the Waeco and the Engel with least power consumption.
Seems to be that way. It's interesting that they've come out like that because in the other tests they've been lagging behind a little bit. So
they haven't been doing what a fridge is supposed to do, and which is cooling. All right, but we put them to a test of 2 hours, and we've really pushed them hard, and we put it all the way down to freeze. These fridges seem to like to just chug along. And they're doing what the box says, 2.2 amp hour fridge or 2.2 watt fridge, and
again we're not in and out of it, so this is a pretty easy test for the fridge.
Yeah.
The actual power consumption whilst it's idling in a box, doing its thing, maintaining its temperature.
Yeah.
That's what we've seen. So
Well, so this is where things get interesting, because at the end of this, we're obviously going to be taking test number 1, test 2, test 3, test 4, and test 5, put it all together in a mixing pot, and then we're going to discuss that. Mm-hmm. So in this specific test, the Engel and the Waeco idle far better than the rest.
Seems that way.
And that moves us to the next one, because now it's about opening and closing and the insulation of the fridge. So if we were to run this exact test, and I'd love to do something like this. We just don't have the manpower, the hours to set up each fridge, run it over 24 hours with somebody opening the lid every hour for 10 seconds. Whoever's got the time and the effort to do that, please go. You can go and run the test. We're just running the test the way they are. But the most important thing over here is now that every time we open up this fridge and we close it, we've seen that some fridges take a lot longer to get back to that cycle.
Yes.
But now we're going to run a test and we're going to say, right, fridge is on a certain temperature, switch it off, all water temperature, and let's see what that is.
Yeah.
Great, then let's run to the next test.
Run the insulation on the fridge and see what it's
right.
like. Yep.
Catch you for the next test, insulation test. Interesting one.
Cheers, man.